don't think anybody else is going to hop on, so we will go ahead and get started. So we're talking about adding and editing documents within DocuSign. So let me get to an opportunity that I would need to do that too. Let me go ahead and hop in one of these. That one's already been done. Let's see here. Okay, we will go to this one. Alrighty. So last week we created the opportunity, added the contact, connected to DocuSign, and went to the transaction. So we're just going to hit go to transaction and log ourselves into DocuSign. Alrighty, perfect. So right up here you can see that this room title and my opportunity title are the exact same, so they are connected in certain aspects. If we look at the details, my buyer's information should automatically come over from command and so on. So right here, since this class is about adding and editing documents, that's exactly what we're going to do. This is in fact a buyer, so we will be adding buyer documents and editing them to get ready to send them for signatures. Next week, the class is going to be over sending documents for signatures, things like that. So that will be next week. I will also show next week how to edit, like make any edits to a document that has already been signed. So we will get to that next week. So for right now, we just need to make our initial edits to documents that we will either print to take with us to have hand sign, or that we will send for signatures. So right over here, I'm going to click add. Now there's a couple of different options over here. When you select add, computer is going to be a document that you just need to insert fields into, such as like a signature or initial field or anything like that. For the purpose of this class, we will be under the DocuSign Forms tab. Any of these down below, we don't really use. These are for other states and other situations, none of which I have come across yet. So these top two are going to be your main ones. So in order to get the documents that we're going to need for this buyer transaction, we're going to go to DocuSign Forms. And if this is your first time going into DocuSign, there might be another little screen that pops up right here that asks for validation and branding. There should be in either one of these corners a little continue without validation button that you can select that will then bring you right here to this screen. So right here we have two separate boxes. All right, now what this top box means, this is the library. So this is going to be a long list of forms, and you can select which group of forms you want those to be. But I recommend changing from the library to the groups, because that's going to get us our templates, and that's going to make it easier. So you click add right here, change from library to group, and then you can then choose your template. We're going to do a residential buyer, and now it's going to open up all of the documents that I have put into a residential buyer template. You may use all of them, may use some of them, there's many different situations. So you'll just go through and click on the circles on the right side, or on the left side, excuse me, to signify which documents you wish to upload into your room. All right, so we're going to do the recad and the buyer's agency. Let's say we also have a contract that we're going to work on and a net sheet. Let's just say that we're going to work on those right now. I have two net sheets in here, a buyer cost sheet that's just very standard, basic, and then I have a cash one. So you can choose either one of those. And then I'm going to click add. So once I add those, it will add them to the room. You cannot dictate which order you wish for these documents to be in. They just are in how they come in. You can't move them around. In order to edit these documents, all you do is you just click on the document to open. And the fields within the document should be editable. So right here, it automatically puts in the client's name. You would then just enter in the date, alrighty, and keep in mind when we are editing these documents, we are editing all the way down to the document is ready to be signed. All right, if we needed to make any strike throughs or anything like that, that will happen next class when we get ready to check the initials and signature fields. This is mainly just editing the allowed text within the document. So this document is ready to be signed. So we will just hit save and close. Then we will move on to the next document. All right, that's going to be the recap. There's probably not anything you really need to do with the recap. Most of it should be filled in for you automatically. But we will, of course, scroll down and check. See, there is my name. There's client name. Perfect. That one's ready to be signed. So we just hit save. Save and close. All righty, we're going to go to the purchase agreement. We'll let that open right up. And you would do the exact same thing with this document as well. We're just going to go through, edit any text we need to. About 1,000 in earnest money, why not? It's going to be held at the selling broker. You just go through, fill out the contract as you normally would. This one is contingent upon financing. We're just going to select some things, scroll through. You get it. We're just going to kind of, go through here, fill out the contract, things like that. So once we fill this out as best we can with all the information that we would need on it, like I said, all the way down to it's ready to be initialed and signed by the buyer, we just hit save and close. And we're going to do the exact same thing with our net sheet as well. All right, we're going to click and open that up. Okay, so it pulled from the contract. It knew that I put the purchase price in at 150. It knew the property address. I typed it into the contract already. It knows that this is the city, so state, zip, all that good stuff. So then you would go through, fill out the net sheet as as best you can. Put your amount need to close down here, and then like I said, once you get down here, I'm just going to put a number down here. Once it gets down to where it just needs the signatures, we're going to hit save and close. At this point, if you do want to then print these documents so that you can take them on an appointment with you and have them hand signed, you can of course do that. You can either hit the select all button right here and it will select all of the documents at once. And you can combine these documents and then print, or you can export the documents. My personal favorite would be to open up the document. We're under the buyer's agency agreement. Hit document actions and hit print. To me, that's going to be the easiest one. That way you can double, triple check that the document is good and ready before you print. So we'll do that one more time. I'm gonna unselect all of these. Let's say we want to print out the contract. We'll click, open it up. We will double check that all of the fields look as we want them to. Right up here where the little corner is folded down, we're gonna click right there and then click print. Alrighty. So that is that. So that is basically adding, editing documents, things of that nature. You can always go back, add another document. We'll add them from a group. Let's say we need to add a waiver. Now you see right here, since you already have this document within the room, it will not let you add it again. So what DocuSign does is, I'm going to go ahead and click add here. So if for some reason, let's say you needed an additional net sheet, you know, you had to cross through on the price, you went kind of back and forth, you need another net sheet. Once these forms are signed, they will appear in the room in addition to the templates. So there will be another row down here, documents, that instead of saying form right here, they will say signed. So those would be your signed copies, and these are then your templated copies. So you could go back into this document, change out the price, re-edit, share it, get that one signed, and then you would have the old price, the new price, things like that. So they do not let you add multiples in at a time. You can edit the documents that you've already added in here, because it does save the template in there as well as give you a copy of the signed documents down below. So that's pretty basic. That is adding and editing documents to your room. Like I said, next week we will go over how to make sure those signatures are right, how we would do any editing as far as cross-throughs, check boxes, initials, anything like that, we will go over next week. But that's very simple, adding, editing, and we will leave it there and pick up next week. All right. Thanks, guys.